What's up, Facebook Live? Marcus here. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Going to talk some restaurant marketing. What the biggest misunderstanding about restaurant marketing. I have this conversation often. I had this conversation today with my buddy Jim Rowe, another marketing maniac. Him and I talk marketing all the time. A good friend of mine for the last, over a decade. Another restaurant owner out on the West Coast. Ellensburg, Washington is where Jim's at. I'm in Ellenville, New York. So Jim and I talk marketing constantly. And Jim and I both coach other restaurant owners. We help other restaurant owners succeed. We help other restaurant owners create marketing programs, marketing strategies. And Jim and I were having the same conversation today that we have quite often. I have this with clients and coaching students, and I have this conversation way too often with people. So the biggest misunderstanding about restaurant marketing. So a lot of restaurant owners view restaurant marketing as one transaction. You get the guests in for one time and that's it. So they place an ad in a newspaper or on Facebook or in a magazine, and they understand that they have a certain amount of money to spend. The guest comes in and spends a certain amount of money, and that's it. They come in once and they figure out some kind of ROI based upon that. A lot of them don't even figure out ROI based upon that, return on investment. But the ones who are like, okay, I spent this and I only got this back. I was a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 return or a 1-to-1. That's all I got back. It's not worth it. And I say, whoa, wait. When you look at restaurant marketing, and goes with any business, folks. This goes with a lot of other types of businesses. Marketing is not a one-time transaction. Marketing is where you market to a guest. They come into your establishment, and then you grab all their information and you retarget them after they leave. So Jim and I are having this great conversation about how one of his clients literally spends $50 per person acquisition. They're an installation company. And so look a bit different than restaurants, but they'll spend $50 per person for an acquisition cost. To know that they can get somebody in a room and get their attention, $50. And maybe only 10% of those people in the room out of the 100 will actually sign up to get this type of installation, this attic installation. But this company understands that, this is like a big picture situation. So when you're a restaurant, the first thing I ask restaurateurs, I say, okay, what is your lifetime value of a guest? And I've never had really any other restaurateur, restaurant owner, restaurant operator be able to just spit out and say, okay, this is my lifetime value of a guest. It's $5,000, $3,000, $8,000, $10,000. Lifetime value, the definition of lifetime value of a guest is what will a guest spend in your establishment for the next 5 years on average. So you take the high spenders, the low spenders, the average spenders, you combine them together, and you spit out this formula, and it's a certain price. So that's the first question I ask, is what is your average lifetime value of a guest for 5 years? And only the very best of the best restaurants can understand that concept or understand that that question. So for me, for example, the lifetime value of my guests at my restaurant, if you come into my restaurant and you get into our system and I start marketing to you, you're going to spend on average $6,800 in 5 years, okay? You might spend $1,000, you might spend $15,000, but the average is $6,800 in 5 years. So for me to place an ad on Facebook and give something away and get them in, and let's say I spend the cost of a giveaway, the cost of the ad, all this kind of stuff. Let's say a guest comes in and spends $30 and I spend $30 to get them in the door, products, advertising, whatever it is. I said, okay, I didn't make any money in that transaction, is what most restaurateurs would say. It took me $30 to get them in. They only spent $30. That's not a good marketing strategy, Marcus. And here's what Jim and I concurred on. We concur on this all the time. If you can add people to your list for zero cost, that's a home run. When somebody comes into your restaurant, into your place of business, and you can put them into your database, onto your list, into your mailing list, into your email, into your CRM, you're hitting home runs. The people that are walking into your business that are giving you their information are people that like you, people that trust you, people that are willing to share their email with you, their phone number, their address. These people are like a double opt-in. This isn't an email list that you're buying from somewhere. This isn't somebody who just signed up online. These are people that walked into your door, loved what they saw, loved their experience, and gave you their information because they trust you and want to hear from you again. This is like a triple opt-in, folks. This is because they're doing business with you. This is a triple opt-in. Now, to pay a zero fee for it to wash out, for it to totally wash out, and for you to say, well, I didn't make any money in the first transaction, and get a guest who's a triple opt-in is a home run. Because for me, that guest is going to spend $6,800 in the next 5 years, which is a massive return on the $30 that I spent to get them in the door in the first place. But here's the problem with most businesses and most restaurants specifically. In fact, today I was looking up some statistics on email marketing. Only 18% of restaurants across the U.S. actually have an email marketing campaign. That's it, 18%. And of those 18%, 54% of those restaurants admit and say in the survey that they only send one email a month. That's 12 emails. So you have literally 9% of restaurants across the U.S. that engage in an active email program. So the profit in email is anywhere from a 38-to-1 to a 44-to-1 return on investment, ROI. That's for every dollar you spend on email, you're getting back $38 to $44. This is a national average, folks. So when a guest walks in and they give you their information and you get all their information, and then now your job is to, as a restaurant owner, as a business owner, to start marketing to them, to start letting them know you exist, to start letting them know you have a crawfish boil coming up, to let them know that you're open New Year's Eve, to let them know, that you're open Christmas, or that you're closed Christmas, or that you're doing a wine dinner or a group trip to a beer festival, or in my case, a wine trip to Italy for 24 people. So you have to work your list. You have to get their email, their mailing, their birthday, their phone number, anything that you have that you can compile data on them. Are they carnivores? Are they vegans? Are they gluten-free? In my case, are they hikers? Do they go to the theater next door? Do they like wine? Do they like spirits? What is the gist of what they like? So I segment my list. When you segment your list, you skyrocket your profits when you segment and say, okay, I'm sending out an email to people that love beer only. I'm going to communicate to people that love beer. I'm not going to board people with a new vegan dish who are carnivores. So that kind of thing, when you segment people, that's that powerful. This is why Facebook marketing works so well, because everybody's segmented to their likes. So back to this biggest misunderstanding about restaurant marketing is it's more than one transaction, folks. In any business, it's more. Well, certain businesses, okay, it's not more than it's one transaction because they're spending a lot of money. But in most cases, it's about more than one transaction, especially restaurants. You want them to keep coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back. Does everybody understand this concept? Repetitive business. If you can implement a continuity program like a membership, this is why gyms, cell phone companies, you don't switch cell phone providers every month because you're on a continuity, you're on a membership, you're on a contract. If you can start working a business model where you do some kind of monthly club, then your restaurant marketing is even that much more successful. We do a membership here where if you pay $997 in December, $1,000 basically, you get $1,200 worth of gift cards. So every month you get a mailing of a gift card, and that's a continuity program. So every month the members come in and spend their $100 and more on top of that. So never, ever, ever judge the success of a marketing campaign upon the first transaction. If you're not capturing your information, so Denny's gave away their Grand Slam breakfast like, 6-7 years ago. They had this whole national thing where we're going to give away, breakfast on one day. It was a Tuesday or something. The biggest mistake they made was they didn't collect the data of everybody they gave the breakfast to. It should have been a sign-up form online or in person, email information about them, their birthdays, whatever. And then every year, Denny's could have actually literally given a free Grand Slam to you on your birthday instead of just a one-time thing. That was a major fail, that Denny's Grand Slam free breakfast giveaway. Major fail. They got no data, no information from their guests. So in the restaurant business, you want all that information so you keep marketing and marketing and marketing. There's other ways to retarget people as well. This is called retargeting. When people go to your website, if you have a Facebook pixel installed, then Facebook will actually track them and know who they are and be able to advertise just to them on Facebook, which is really cool. So for example, if you went online right now to Zappos and you Googled Zappos and went on and looked at a pair of shoes, and then all of a sudden went on Facebook, a Zappos ad would mysteriously pop up, right? Because Facebook gives coding to business owners, website owners. They give coding to it. If you have a fan page where you can put that coding on your website, and when visitors go there, it tracks them. It's like a cookie device, and it tracks them. It's called the Facebook Pixel. And this is what I recommend every single person in business with a website do. Get a fan page, install the Pixel. I don't care if you're not doing Facebook ads today, tomorrow, and 6 months from now. Install your Pixel and start tracking guest data through Facebook. So when it's time for you to advertise on Facebook, you can pull that Pixel segment and only send your message to people that have been on your website. People that have been on your website are looking for you. They're familiar with your product. They wanted to spend money with you. Now you're just reminding them. So Zappos is reminding. If you go to Zappos, and whether you get into a shopping cart with them or not a shopping cart, you all of a sudden then go to Facebook. Zappos is saying, hey, don't forget that we're here and that you were on our site. And by the way, you were looking at these Luke Casey boots, right? So this is like extremely important when it comes to marketing, is that you understand it's never the first transaction. And people that understand this are very successful in business. Now, certain businesses rely upon this, but certain businesses, like I mentioned, the cell phone, you're buying from them every month. You're buying from AT&T and Verizon every month. A gym locks you in for a year. But if you can implement some of those kind of strategies into your own marketing, into your own, it's extremely, extremely beneficial. So that is the most misunderstood thing about marketing, folks. You never judge the success of a program on the first transaction. That is the worst thing to do. It's like sipping wine. It's like tasting wine. You never judge a wine on the first sip of the wine. You let your palate acclimate to it, and then you go back after another minute or so and retaste the wine. Palate's acclimated, and then it's, that's when you can make a fair judgment. And then, of course, the true test on a bottle of wine is, well, what does it taste like the next day after it's been opened and the cork's been put in? What does it taste like the next day? Did it stand up? Your marketing has to stand up. And the way it stands up is by retargeting and collecting your database. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Had a bunch of people on. Thank you everybody for tuning on. Some people in the restaurant business, coffee business, some of the business owners. I appreciate it. And all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. Go crush your marketing.